We got to start off with the number one team in the country losing. Gonzaga goes into Moraga, gets dropped by St. Mary's. They score 57 points in a full 40-minute basketball game. The Gonzaga Bulldogs, let me repeat, 57 points. I'm pretty sure T.O. scored 57 points in a 40-minute basketball game before. What happened there, T.O.? What's wrong with Gonzaga?
I did it in a 32-minute basketball game in high school. in high school, I did. No, here's the biggest stat of the night for me when it comes to talking about Gonzaga is 4 assists to 14 turnovers. That's not typical Gonzaga basketball, and they're throwing the ball in the post, and Drew Timme was getting played one-on-one, and they were digging at him, but he was still being played one-on-one, so they weren't overcommitting. I'm not buying this Gonzaga team as a fraud. I actually think this was a healthy loss, if there is such a thing. Because, guys, let's just call it what it is. Gonzaga gets bored over there in that conference, and we can talk about St. Mary's is a good team, but Gonzaga is an elite team. And Gonzaga has won that league. I don't know how many years running. They've been to the second weekend of the tournament. I don't know how many years running. It's a team that needed a wake-up call in order to perform as well as they could in the NCAA tournament. And I think this was a good thing. Drew Timme obviously has to play better. 2 of 10 is not going to get it done. Andrew Nembhard, 0 assists for who we've been calling one of the top 3 point guards in college basketball for the duration of the season. That's not going to get it done. Now, I don't want to take anything away from St. Mary's because I love Tommy Kuhse. He's one of my favorite point guards in the country. But this is a Gonzaga team that probably needed a loss heading into the semifinal game of the West Coast Conference tournament, which is the most ludicrous bracket in college basketball. I don't know who hasn't seen this, but it is the most ludicrous thing I've ever seen. The last place team has to win 6 games.
It's just a
pair of scissors. It's a pair of scissors, that bracket. And I'm sitting there and watching. I was like, they have to win like 6 games. Last place team has to win 6 games in a row to win that championship. Gonzaga has to win 2. Tell me, in what world is this right, Gonzaga? What world is this right? But they're already in the semis. Good for them. Congratulations. They're a shoe-in for the number one, a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. I still like this team. They have all the pieces. This was a solid wake-up call for them.
It was a solid wake-up call for them. But it doesn't take away the fact that I still do have my worries about them in the NCAA tournament, because this is a program that has come so close but has never been able to win the big one. And I'm asking myself, okay, is this Gonzaga team more fit than last year's Gonzaga team to come out as a national champion? That's the question I'm asking myself this morning. And internally, I'm thinking to myself, well, look, when Chet Holmgren and Drew Timme have their best day, the answer to that question is yes. Yes, they are. They are more than capable of doing it. On this day, though, St. Mary's did a terrific job defensively. This was Randy Bennett to a T. Put some respect on that man's name, because I think he's one of the more underappreciated coaches in the country. To me, though, what I look at is what you just said, Terrence. 4 assists for this team, 14 turnovers. And we have talked about an opponent's ability to dictate the pace of a game, get Gonzaga a little bit off kilter, and force Gonzaga into a game that's not comfortable for them. And I look at what Tommy Kuhse did, and you're right, I love him too. I think he's a really good player. But the fact that Andrew Nembhard had a performance like that is alarming to me, because I didn't know that was something that could happen. And the thing is, guys, you sometimes find out about your team when they have their worst night and how you prevent it from happening again. So a healthy loss in that regard, because what if Andrew Nembhard had this night in the round of 32 or the Sweet 16 and it came to a shock to all of us? The point is, though, I'm a little bit concerned about Gonzaga in terms of, when I'm talking about Gonzaga, we at this point are not talking about their ability to get to a Final Four. We're talking about if they're going to win it all. Now, I have some questions about their bench. I don't think that they're a great depth team. And I think I have some questions out of this game about what happens if somebody takes Timme or Holmgren out, and in this case, both of them, what happens beyond that? And for Gonzaga, it was only scoring 57 points. I never thought that day would happen. So I'm both saying it's a healthy loss, But, like, do I think that this Gonzaga team in the climate of college hoops, do I think that this is the year that they're going to win it all? I have my doubts about that.
It's funny because if you buy into Ken Palm's efficiency metrics and the efficiency margin and the way that his numbers break down, the gap between them and number 2 Kentucky right now is bigger than the gap between number 2 Kentucky and number 13 Purdue. That's how far ahead of the field Gonzaga is right now. And yes, a lot of that is because they're running away from teams and there's no cap on efficiency margin, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah. Okay. We get it. But I do think that this Gonzaga team is very, very, very good. What I will say is this: St. Mary's kind of gave you the blueprint for what you need to do to be able to beat them, right?
Yes.
We saw it with Alabama and Gonzaga, where if you are more athletic and you can thrive going up and down with them and you have talent to match them, then you might be able to run with them. If you don't have the talent to match them, you don't want to play like that. What you want to do is make them play possession by possession. Do not let them get out in transition because they are one of the best transition teams in the country. Do not let Timmy get out and run because he will get layups after layups after layups if you allow him to do that. Make it so that you have to isolate their guards, right? Like, I think that St. Mary's, on the one hand, this is a very, very good matchup for St. Mary's in the sense that the way that they play defensively with the size they have inside, the way that they can kind of isolate ball handlers, they don't really help off of you. They make your guards kind of beat you. Randy Bennett's teams, if you go back and look, they always lead the country in defensive assist rate. They make you play one-on-one. They make you beat them one-on-one. And if there's one thing that this Gonzaga team doesn't have, it's guards that are going to beat you one-on-one. So I think that when you combine everything, road game, St. Mary's is really good. Gonzaga has nothing to play for. This is a tough matchup. St. Mary's, what they do best is the way that you want to try to play to beat Gonzaga. Put all that together, and to me, that's why they lost this game. I don't know how many teams can replicate what St. Mary's did tonight or did on Saturday night. So I don't think they're a fraud at all. I still think Gonzaga is probably the favorite to win the national title, but this was a nice little. Sometimes you got to get punched in the mouth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
A good loss is a real thing, and you obviously don't want them, and they went home in a bad mood. But Tommy Kuhse too. Ben, I'm not sure you probably brushed over this, but Tommy Kuhse just being able to control the game because the ball's in his hand a lot. Like he doesn't let it get away from him. And if you have a really, really good point guard, like Gonzaga can't get out and run.
Yeah, they control the pace. They're so good at it, and Mark Few and Randy Bennett have been battling each other for like 2 decades in that conference at the top of the league. And Randy knows what Mark Few's teams want to do better than just about any other coach in college basketball, except for maybe Tommy Lloyd, right? So being able to have a team that knows how to beat Gonzaga and is not afraid of Gonzaga is a big thing. And you're right about Tommy Kuhse, man. That dude was a walk-on when he got to St. Mary's.
Wow.
And here's the other thing.
He's
Kevin
a bad
Sweeney
boy.
Yeah, he is. Kevin Sweeney.
He's a man.
Kevin Sweeney made this point last night. Like, normally when you look at these St. Mary's teams, their best ones, they'll have a pro or an NBA player somewhere on the roster. Patty Mills, Matthew Dellavedova, Jock Landale, Brad Waldo. Remember Omar Samhan? Like, they have someone that's kind of in that like elite tier of college basketball player, or someone that's going to end up playing in the league one day. Malik Fitz, who was the Mickey McConnell. Like, this team doesn't have that. Like, who on this team are you looking at? You say, oh yeah, that guy's going to be making 6 figures with a curly number in the front for a long time. Tia, what do we got going on over there?
My wife has just barged in and given me the dog.
Where's Mrs. Oglesby?
Come here, Maria. They want to say hello. Come tell the people hello. We only have 20,000 people that want to see your face after a workout. Come here, babe.
Yeah, Mrs. Oglesby, come on.
No, she did this to herself. This is my beautiful wife. Get your face out.
Hey. Ask her which ride she did today.
Which ride did you do? Which Peloton ride?
I have done the country and EDM.
The country, how many minutes?
45.
She went 45 minutes country and EDM, and she won. She won.
Yeah.
She won the whole thing.
Wow.
Tell her it's time to go hydrate.
Yeah. Hydrate up, babe. Thirsty.
That was amazing. She's ready for March.
Yeah, she's ready.
She's ready for March.
She's
really ready for April, though. She is ready for
She's ready for spring break. Kids have spring break at the end of April. That's what she's ready for.